The Senate has just acquitted President Trump on both articles of impeachment. And this vote today means that the president will remain in office.
As expected, senators mostly voted along party lines, with one notable exception. Mitt Romney was the only Republican senator to vote to convict the president on the charge of abuse of power. Romney called the president's actions a, quote, flagrant assault on our electoral rights, our national security interests, and our fundamental values. We have team coverage of the impeachment vote tonight. We begin with WBZ's Liam Martin live here in studio. Liam?
Well, David and Lisa, after 5 months of impeachment proceedings, the Senate has voted to acquit President Trump of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The tally for conviction fell far short of the two-thirds threshold, 67 votes that would be needed for removal. The Senate voted 52 to 48 to reject the first article and 53 to 47 to defeat the second article. In a historic development, Senator Mitt Romney crossed party lines, becoming the first senator in history to vote to remove a president from his own party.
The president is guilty of an appalling abuse of public trust. What he did was not perfect. No, it was a flagrant assault on our electoral rights, our national security, and our fundamental values. Corrupting an election to keep oneself in office is perhaps the most abusive and destructive violation of one's oath of office that I can imagine.
Now, no statement yet from the president, but he did just tweet out a video, and his campaign has released a statement saying the president has been totally vindicated and that it's time to get back to the business of the American people. Lisa?
All right, Liam, thank you. I want to bring in our WBZ political analyst, John Keller, here. John, what's the ripple effect of this vote today and the outcome of the vote?
I mean, I think it's been completely predictable all along, sure. Lisa. Every partisan America at this moment is even more furious at the other side than they were when this process began. And my guess is the nonpartisans are more disgusted with partisanship in D.C. than ever as well. Now, in the short-term context of this election, I suspect the Democrats will reap some marginal benefits politically. There was never any doubt that President Trump's campaign would turn out his base in November. He focuses on pleasing and exciting that base almost exclusively. It's the Democrats who have to worry about turnout in November, and the angrier and more appalled Democrats and independents are with Trump and the Republicans, well, that's better for them. Now, in the longer term, Senator Mitt Romney is a good bellwether to watch. If the president is reelected, Romney is marooned on an island. If the voters throw out Trump and Trumpism, he may be the leading candidate to take over what's left of the party. But, Lisa, I said it when this started, I'll say it again. Impeachment is always a very divisive act with long-term toxic political fallout. And last night's ugly State of the Union spectacle, I fear, is a sign of things to come.
And the fallout just continuing now for the foreseeable future until the election, at least.
There are people who are still furious about Nixon's near impeachment.
All right, John, thank you.